Eh, is you? Well, good morning to you, and all and sundry, and all, and welcome to another edition of Richard's Rant. As you know, the morning is the best part of the day. That is the sentiment that I am wishing to you, regardless of the time of day that you are tuning in, so that energy, in case anything has gone wrong, there's always a tomorrow. Yeah, I'm changing it up just a little bit. There's always a tomorrow, there are always contingencies, and there's always a fresh start. So, a pleasant good morning to you and yours, and thank you for tuning in. The newspaper today I only read one because it was potent. It was actually full of information, and as such, full of mental arousal, mental stimulation. So I did not actually. Sometimes I tend to try to put it in order, but it was really a lot. So I'm going to get into it with you. The newspaper that I read yesterday specifically said that Fitzgerald Hines said that the new Brazilian strain of COVID was not due to the porosity of our borders. Today, Diaz said that it was a Latin American native that brought it here. However, he refused to comment on whether or not their presence in Trinidad, because they're not in Tobago, so their presence in Trinidad, if it is legal or illegal. So all I can say is that at the present time of recording this, the border is still closed. So, how is it that you expect us? We already have a horrible reputation as a politician as being nasty, stink, dirty, and low. Not Diaz Singh in particular, although he is not my favorite. Politicians in Trinidad, all of them, including the beloved Auntie Cam Cam. So, all of them have that reputation. So, how it is you expect us to ever even consider trusting you? You are a manipulative cunt. You don't get into politics without being a manipulative cunt. That's just the reality of it, because you have to be able to sweet talk and bamboozle the majority of a population into signing over their basic freedoms and rights into your authority. So, you're a manipulative bitch. But you are so cocky. And again, the you is all Trinidad politicians. Some Abubakar son, Abubakar, offspring, go right back, right forward, across, up, down, diagonal, sideways, inside, out, and around the corner. All, all of them. So, we're in the middle of a crisis right now. We are in the middle of a pandemic, economic crisis, more so than the pandemic itself. And if it is this continues, we would have a serious social crisis on our hands. We would have more suicides. We had a few, it was swept under the carpet. We would have more home invasions. We would have more crime in general. We'll have more lawless behavior. And we would then eventually have a general breakdown in the fabric of society. And it's not dramatic, because if I bend this one rule and you bend that rule, and then we talk, and it's like, oh, so these are two rules that could be bent, and so on and so forth, eventually all the rules will be bent and everything would be like spaghetti, wet or dry, cooked or raw, either broken or flexible. So maybe it wouldn't be a breakdown. Maybe it would be a catharsis of society, a change. Either way, we strap to this ride, and apparently suicide is not an option, it's illegal, among other things. So we have to sit our asses down, buckle up, sit back, and see exactly where the fuck this all ends. But it's just amazing to me. It's like, if you're not even trying to bamboozle me anymore. I mean, even if I was a prostitute, you would have to leave the money on the dresser. Um, I personally would like to envision myself as a classy prostitute that would have the pay as you go, the tap kind of thing, or you just transfer the money into my holding account. But either way, you would at least have to finesse, you know, your wallet. But you just giving me the blasted thing raw, and I don't appreciate it. And don't we have a ministry of communication? I think you all need to start to vet all this shit before they pay it out into the public. This worse than if it is you was just putting out shit like Trump on social media. At least that could be excused to explain away, but all they have in official fucking press conferences. They're taking up time, energy, effort, and resources. This getting printed on trees that was murdered, and all they're just doing and carrying on with whatever the fuck all they want, dread. I don't know now, maybe the government is like some kind of hydra beast with multiple heads. Because all of them just seem to be in some kind of a fucking pissing contest with each other. Maybe all of them work hard to reach for the reach, and all of them want to be in charge, or all of them in charge of their own ministry, like little kings of their own country. Or I ain't really know what to say with that, no. I ain't really know what to say with that. But Rowdy's still in my good books at the time of creating this particular rant. And I noticed that in a previous one, I thought from the article that he was in the official prime minister's residence, but from this newspaper it says that he's in Tobago, and since we only have one in Trinidad, it means that he man in the house. So, but then again, each paper does add their own little flavor to the pot. Some might use five spice, some might use black pepper. But either way, it's a pillow. The man was quarantined, and we could just focus on the fact that it had food. And beautiful. I just like to see. Well, I like to see pretty people because remember I said I wasn't going to objectify women, but she looked good. And to keep my word in this one, it had a good-looking man too, way down the end of the paper, but he a little bit fat, but he red and he have nice eyes, so he could get away with anything. And apparently he is he finds some company named Cornerstone in Jamaica when he was 30 something, and it didn't actually go into how he made his money or where it cometh from, but he have enough that he busy buying banks at this point, and he wanted to buy, or is going to buy, a significant part. No, a lie. He bought over some investment bank in Jamaica, and he wanted to buy over a significant part of the shares in FCB, but he's not being allowed to. FCB is not agreeing to. Some kind of friction going on there, but they're going to take his money as some sort of a contribution. So the business will have its own way of doing the couture, and what we get in the newspaper is just a trinket of it. And in my opinion, that is where our focus should be, and not on who killed who, or what Rowdy say and what Kamala say, or any kind of folly like that. Or most of the articles that are being reported, because right now the busy talking about how much people dead in India. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Yeah, but why it is they also not reporting in a glorious manner that America CDA saying that you could relax yourself with the mask shut? Why it is they didn't do a complete expose, they did a complete introspection on India where the virus exploded, but why they didn't do a introspection on Sweden that never had a lockdown? That say, you know what, the virus here, fuck it, we gonna ride it out. Why we didn't give that kind of, spotlight on Sweden so that we could have a full picture? And because we're not getting a full picture and people not as stupid as they used to be, they're different kind of stupid now, but not like they used to be. All it creating is doubt and anarchy. Why? But coming back to the beautiful Tobagonian that is asking what the fuck Franklin Khan family had to do that my family didn't. Because she went to America. First to begin, why she had to go America for this surgery needs to be investigated in my opinion, after we spend millions and millions of dollars to build a whole fucking hospital in Scarborough. I not picking up money, I know they're taking my money. I had to put up with real shit to get my little bit of money, and it's only 20 something dollars an hour I working for. I know they're taking out of that. Even if all you take $10 alone for a health surcharge, that is a half our pay. I'm not getting fed up of it, because how it is how they build the whole Kismaya's hospital in Scarborough, but she had to go America in the first place to get the surgery. It better has be as per her choice. But I digress. And because Corona happened, she is trapped out there for more than a year, and she's being supported mainly by her family here. She also has a daughter here, and she is doing jumping through the hoops, doing the application, paying the attorney, doing the song and dance, sketching her ass over there and all of that. Because I mean, you well overstay your time at this point. She can't get to come home. Her grandmother, sorry, her mother died, so her daughter's grandmother, because that's how they wrote the article. The daughter's grandmother died, and the daughter having all of these emotional issues, missing her mother, and the emotional support that you can't really get through Skype as yet. Although I know that they were developing a masturbatory attachment for your computer, so I always quickly go to that. But sex is wonderful, even when it's with yourself, especially when it's with yourself. Oh, nobody else to have to deal with. But I digress. Whereby you could attach it to your computer and go on that lovely Pornhub, and whatever is happening on the screen, the device could simulate it around whatever area, your erogenous zone. We don't have to be crass because it's not just your genitals, it's whatever area they have it for anything that you could imagine. Pieces of humans, synthetic, of course, just for sexual gratification. But Skype, actually, as I mentioned, that they were working on something that could give a virtual hug. It's a bit more complicated though, but they were working on that. But either way, it's not there yet, so the woman can't really give the adequate or effective emotional support to her 8-year-old daughter that turned 9 during Corona. But yet still, Frankie Khan dead the other day, in the time of this recording, and he whole fucking family coming down for the funeral. I don't even know why they're coming down for the funeral, because it have current exemptions that say that is either 10 or 5 people, but then maybe they're gonna jump through the loophole and do it in the church that could hold 25 people. But why the ass didn't stay with it is and be virtual, and why is it that we could do an exemption for them? What just make them so special? Is it that just because Frankie was, let's just assume he was the honorable and he was so exemplary a character, that his essence bleed over into his family, and we're going to give them the same treatment because they're so wonderful, they're not at risk or anything? That's fuckery. They had a right to apply and be at the bottom of the list like every other person. I can't really find any justification. Man, at the end of the day, the man dead. It's not to give blood, it's not even to give a last kiss, a last hug. Why we just do these things? Why exactly do we do those things? And in another rant, I was justifying why it is the Prime Minister will get special treatment. But it had no rationale for this. It's simply who know who, when I push through your shit. That make no fucking sense. And you know what that also tells us? That, and there's an underlying thought process that they are better than us, that they are more privileged than us, that they are more deserving than the regular person. And this is how it hemorrhages out, and that shit needs to go. Even if you who listening to this think that just because you in a supervisory or management position, or because you are the head of a household, or simply because of your gender you name man, or because of the size of your wallet or your income or something, that you are somehow entitled to better treatment, you fucking lie. Because all of us in this shit call life together, all of us affecting each other, all of us vibrating and causing ripples in everybody else's pond. And it's high time that you start to do that, not because it's not a communist society and we have the ability to have freedoms and to attain and acquire as much wealth as we can, and it's not just to spread evenly among everyone, doesn't mean that you are entitled. Whatever you have, you worked for, you achieved, and that's fantastic in a fabulous way, and you could enjoy it however the fuck you want. But whatever you do is not supposed to negatively affect anybody else or cause anybody else any kind of inconvenience or distress. That's supposed to be up inside of your own blasted place, and when you're already thief enough money not to be stopping this someone from coming home to see with your daughter. It's upsetting. And I don't know why it is we can't be giving more space in the dead trees to honor the sacrifice, the murder, the massacre of the dead trees with stories like this. It has so many people stranded all over the place. It has people stranded in hot zones in the world, like Syria and Middle East and all kind of shit, which part, with real hot, so they're always fighting and saying it's for God, but it's just because they're hot. What if peaks could invest over there, the whole war would done. But why it is the papers that giving more credence to that? They only picking low-lying fruit. Kamala say, Rowley say, this one say, everybody say, everybody have a fucking month, everybody saying something. Look, I saying something now. You saying something listening to this too? Continuing with the stimulating or mental arousal, as I choose to call it. We have Scotia being one of the best places to work. I don't know who they ask these people bribing to get all of these accolades, synonymous to the name, but Scotiabank is one of the lowest paying banks in Trinidad and Tobago. So their salaries really did not raise at the time of doing this rant. So unless they have people working for them that have other needs, according to the Maslow theory of business that you learn in like O levels that you could Google, people don't really start looking at those high-end needs until they kind of could meet the basic ones. And unless they have some kind of allowances program or cult, it means to say that that shit. Tellers working in Scotiabank just make like 35 to 4,000, just over $4,000, if so much. Because I am giving them a window since I didn't pre-research that particular one, and the information I have in my head is some years ago. And I would love to think that due to inflation and stuff, they would have raised. But in comparison, you have FCB paying over 7,000 for the exact same job. You have Republic Bank paying almost as much as FCB for the exact same job. You have RBC coming in third. So how the fuck? All right, and Republic has the most discriminatory, or let's say exclusive, way of doing business. To open a business account there, they require so much forms, it's very confusing to the average person. So right there, you excluding the average person. You have to be a particular height to ride this train, to ride this ride. Then with all the 99,000 fees, so if you can't afford to pay the fees, that's the other exclusion. And of course, terms and conditions apply, and it have hoops and things that you could jump through if you qualify. But you have to qualify for them to give you the real oomph. So, as opposed to FCB, which is like the whole of banks, come one, come all, everybody just get a card. URP, if everybody just get a card and get inside. If it have standing room, you're in the dance. So FCB might say, we don't really like working there because every 2 minutes we just get cussed from some illiterate person. And so Republic always their excuse why they're not the best place to work. But then as I was having those thoughts, the article did say one of the best places to work. So I don't even know if it's like the top 4. Because we only have 4 banks: FCB, RBC, Scotia 3, and Republic, right? So I don't know if it is they meant to say they're the top 4 of the commercial banks. I am not entirely sure what category Answer Merchant Bank is in, and I did forget JMMB. So let's say 5.5 banks, commercial banks. Anyway, it's just interesting to see the PR machine and the bubble and but that's hardly a fantastic example of the bubble and the corruption. It's just another one. So I was also looking at, as we spoke about India and all the amount of people that just dying at any given second right now. Didn't Kamala and DD get in a whole fight over why Kamala right India for vaccines? How come India don't have enough vaccines now? And my aunt actually brought that to my attention, and I really didn't have an answer, and I still don't have an answer. But it did make me think about, and I'm trying not to repeat certain rants, but again, why people do what they do. What's the motive behind it, right? And I don't know why they will give us vaccines if they don't have enough. Even if they gave us the vaccines before, they are learned people. They would have known that something like this is potentially could happen. So, what do they have to gain by giving us vaccines? All things in time, time will reveal. But speaking of why we do what we do, apparently we are going to develop the avenue. The avenue has gained worldwide recognition that is not on a level with things like the Strip in Las Vegas, for example, but it's in the same category. It might be barely, but it's in the same category. And we finally going to develop it. Finally. Of course, real money going on thief because I don't know what a great development would be. All they really need to do is maybe put in a car park, put some security, and they could maybe make it look sexier instead of just having the same street lights. Just aesthetics like that. I wouldn't go as far as to maybe change the road and put paving bricks to make it look, kind of promenade-ish. But maybe some drainage, maybe some shelter, that kind of a situation. But they're gonna find a way to do what they need to do. And one thing that stood out to me is that they're gonna plant black olive trees on both sides of, and I don't really know why. First to begin, black olive tree sounding expensive because I don't think that that is an indigenous plant of Trinidad or Tobago. And I don't know if that's the first way they're gonna thief money. But I find they could have just really put some nice hibiscus and some croton and call that a day. Maybe some Easter lilies that would blossom for Easter. Maybe a little jump up and kiss me, and that is just grow and grow and grow and grow. You just break a piece and chuck it in and call that a day. I don't really see the need for the black olive trees. But yeah. And they're gonna put a 4-level car park, security, police, yada yada. And in the midst of announcing this, Woodbrook residents concerned about noise pollution. And for me, it's like, what the fuck wrong with you? By doing this, your property value going to go up. What you need to be thinking is where next you want to live. That's just what I thinking. Yeah, you might be old and you have memories in this house. Make a video. Cut out a piece of the house and go with it. But you shouldn't be studying noise pollution. The people and I'm talking about developing. So where you want to be, like that Pixar animated film Up with that one house in the middle of the city. You need to roll with the times. You're getting a good deal because we no longer want you there. We can't say we don't want you there, move, because it's your property, so you're being compensated. Is everything you had to read? What the ass you really thinking? I don't really know now. And hence the rant. I don't really know. Then Sophia volcano in St. Vincent. At the time of doing this, it's right now it's steamy, and it didn't have any eruptions for a little while, and it's like. Vincentians it's up to the editor if you're gonna take that out. But Vincentians want to go back, and I like why? Because the thing still steaming. Or you know what? I would have let them go back. I would have let them go back. And these are the same people that leave the pets and thing behind. Maybe they have a crisis of conscience and they want to go back home and feed the dog. I would have let them send a disclaimer and send their ass back. You want to go? Go. But they also not taking the corona vaccines, and they a few of them dead. Less than 20 though. It can't even be approximated to 20 yet. Either way, every life is valuable, and rest in peace and so forth. But I don't know why they want to go back so soon. Is it that where they are so inhospitable? Or is it like black people mentality? It's mine, my place, my thing. I want to be in my house, my business. Then you have, apparently, we had a prisoner that escaped from when we had the prison down the islands, and he swam to Trinidad. Well, a lie. He started to swim, he catch a log, and he flew to Trinidad. And he do all of this for pussy, for the love of a woman. And I hope never ever 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 to be so afflicted. So the story goes that he was a career criminal with a heart of gold, of course, and he was in one of them bars, with the illegal vennies prostituting themselves. But I learned a trick. I didn't know that you could buy the whole person. So it's like how it is. You could buy a sandwich, or you could buy a sandwich loaf, or you could buy like one roll of toilet paper, or you could buy it in bulk. I'm not actually comparing the person to toilet paper, to be clear. I'm just looking for things that you could buy in bulk or single. And he buy the woman in bulk. And then he get thrown in jail. And eventually she went back to Colombia. And yeah, he swam out because he did leave the money that he had illegally attained to his family. Family wasn't giving him the money. All of them was poor, so that's obviously understandable why they were tiffy money. And would tell themselves they're borrowing it while he in jail. And he come out and take whatever little money he had. And Oglinka seen and reach Colombia illegally. He lived there for a little bit. He breeded people, child. And then he get catch and thrown back in jail, and she waited for him. So I would love to think that they just had this emotional and spiritual connection, and should we all have that, but may it not motivate us to do things like escape prison and float across the sea. Just saying. I'm glad it worked out for him. He do better than Jack and Rose on the Titanic. And to be clear, those are fictional characters, people. I see one such a thing that I'd like, and it stimulated thoughts that I'd like, that is Bungie Garlin could paint. And he had a painting of St. Vincent and the volcano and the eruption and all of this. And he was explaining his daughter could do it, his brothers could do it, so it's like a family trait. I was thinking that because, so this man is artistic, he's talented. He was also a criminal. If you listen to the story Before His Glory, that's the name of the song. Or you think this come with a free pass, with a YouTube account and a green pass. So I can't remember the name of the song. It's not, let me see you burn up the place, burn up the place. I can't remember the name of the song, is it Survival? Yeah, so if you listen to those two, he speaks about yeah, when he was a criminal. And let me see you burn up the place. Let me see you turn up the place. You think this come with a free pass? Whatever. Can't remember the name of the song. Not gonna look for it. You will know the song. It's popular. But I think it's Survival. And I was thinking, like, how many of my own talents, because I'm still in two minds about this one, but it's obvious that it is, but as a self-esteem issue within me, an internal struggle within me, that speaking is a talent of mine. But oh God, the certain I had was to swallow all kind of thing. I thought about pausing the recording because you have that at least humility or possible self-esteem issues about it. Probably self-esteem because I was beaten so much into shutting up. So maybe that's why. But just want to move off of that. And I was wondering if Bungie was an artist, if he would have been as successful. So, like, how do you know which aspect of your personality or your talent to push forward? And how do you know if you are using the correct one? Like, what about the path not chosen? And in going into being a lyricist, because the dude can't sing, so he could kind of, he's not he's not a singer, right? He knows his tiny range and he uses that tiny range. He's a lyricist. So you would think, he would have gone into poetry or the thought of singing would have been intimidating, but that is where he made his money, or maybe that is what we had a demand for at that time. And because he now has achieved this platform, he can actually promote his other talents. So it's kind of beautiful, and it is something for me to remember going forward. That life is, your life could be a tree, but that tree has different branches, and the branches have sub branches, and the sub branches have leaves and fruits and other things living in the tree. So you don't need, it's not a highway or a road. And even if it was a palm tree that might look like it's one way, you still have different leaves, you still have fruits, you still have flowers and things living in the tree. So try something else and don't be afraid to fail. Just, try something. Yep. So that was the only good thought. And I probably should have ended with that one. But that wasn't the end of the newspaper, and I didn't put it in any particular order. So we went on to some more fuckery. Apparently, it took the Housing Development Corporation 13 fucking years to make a simple decision about the towers that are in Enterprise. I honestly thought that those disgusting looking tall towers that are rotting were a private enterprise and the person run out of money. I had no fucking idea that once again it was my money jumping up and playing up in an ass. I am thinking that, okay, so we have a new way of employing people that I call modern day slavery. It is prevalent when you have people working in jobs like factories, call centers, which is like an oral factory, and basically jobs like that. And it kind of bleeds over into sales jobs and commission based jobs as well. And I'm trying to find one more example of where this kind of employment is. But this kind of employment is to pay you the bare minimum that you need and to encourage you to give the company more by making you so close to hungry that you will just do a little more and then do a little more and then do a little more. And if it is you don't come to work, or you take a sick day, or you're literally not by your desk or not by your workstation, you make less money. It's actually deducted. And I am thinking that maybe the government needs to be on something like that, because I don't have the luxury to take 13 minutes to make a decision, far less 13 fucking years. What the hell all they was talking about so long? The contract was originally stopped, ironically, because the contractor was taking too long to complete it. Show me your friends and I'll show you who the fuck you are. And then we have one of the many cases against Michael Jackson, the deceased, the man dead so long, his remains must not even in wherever they put it, the crypt or wherever it is. And but Michael and Dr. Seuss are inspirations to me, that they make so much money, the Colonel, after their death, their estate. That is some serious generational wealth, and something that I think we should all aspire to. And not only to continue earning money after we are dead, but to earn money without having to pay with our lives for it. So, like if we fight in a fucking war. But the judge threw out a case that he touched this particular man when he was a boy. And I am wondering, what do you ask was your real motive except money at this point? Because if it is you get touch up, right? It means to say that your pride hurt, you felt violated, you have emotional issues, and so forth. So the man dead is highly unusual that you want to do what? Go through the process of the trial so you could send a message to all molesters. No, you're looking for money. You're looking for money. And the man dead, yo. I don't even know if he really touched you, if he didn't touch you. But at what point do you let it to fuck go? This man was a fucking entertainer, you know. This man get beat like a pinata, like it had candy in him, but not that type. And he lived his life for the amusement of the world. Not even for people to take him seriously as a human being, but just for our amusement and entertainment. And even with his death, we still being amused and entertained by him. What else? Why are you still attacking what is left of the legacy of this person? And he's not even in a position to give his side of the story again. What are they gonna do? A hologram? God, humans at some point start to do better now. So, thank you for listening to yet another edition of Richard's Rant. This one was really aggressive for me. It was really angry, and I hope that it doesn't spoil your day, but instead germinates some thought as to how you could be better in your day and how you can motivate others to be better in their day as well. And subscribe to the vibe. Please comment towards our betterment. Share with your friends, family, anybody that you think may benefit or be entertained by this rant. Vibes.